welcome into CHGO White Sox pregame show live from Studio A here in the West Loop of Chicago in the CHGO studios. I'm your host, Sean Anderson. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. You can follow the show on Twitter at CHGO_White Sox. And alongside me is Herb Lawrence.
Hello.
You can follow him on Twitter at Eknerwall23. He's our CHGO White Sox community leader. And we are being produced today by Gregory, Dale, Earnhardt Jr., Braggs Jr. Steven, did he mess up? He did.
I did.
Are we live?
Yes. We're live.
Hey.
So he didn't mess up. Pregame, if no one saw it, he didn't mess up. That's how I did when I was a producer.
Amen. I mean, again, if Mitch didn't hear it, it wasn't a mistake.
Well,
that was my rule.
It never happened.
Exactly. Greg.
What?
I'm just going to share a story with you. One time, and I won't throw any producer here under the bus. But one time we were live for about 5 minutes, and then we had the realization that we actually never went live. So, sometimes you start to... No, I'm not trying to bus... I literally said I'm not bus tossing. I'm not bus tossing anybody.
I don't think you were. I don't know.
If it was you and you're standing right there, I would have looked directly in your eyes and said, Steven didn't.
Yeah, because we know you could take it, Steven.
Relax.
You're part of the crew.
I don't want to. Do you want me to bus toss somebody, Steven? How many people are watching? Is it safe enough to bus toss somebody? It's okay. Jake's watching. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button and make sure you are commenting because we're going to be asking questions. I'm going to be asking questions of Herb all throughout today, and we want to hear your response along with Herb's. The main thing, and it's our first segment here, TA is MIA. No Tim Anderson in the starting lineup for the Chicago White Sox today. Our own Vinny Duber on Twitter. You can follow him on Twitter at Vinny Duber. Funny enough, Pedro Grafal said he's hopeful Tim Anderson can be back in the lineup tomorrow, but he's waiting to see how today's pregame work goes for the shortstop with a bothersome shoulder. Per Grafal, TA was only able to run during pregame workout yesterday. Is that fun?
No.
Oh.
I mean, what he could do, I would do for TA, since they have an off day on Thursday, is give him the day off also on Wednesday, so his shoulder can be as best as it can be on Friday. If they assume that he is ready to play on Wednesday, as I have brought up before, back in the day with Ozzie Guillen, you're ready to play today? Cool. Get another day off so you're 100% ready to play the day we actually do have you in the lineup. So if they're smart, and we know the White Sox, border on the stupid baseball, they would have him off tomorrow too, so we can utilize all these days off. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and the off day on Thursday, and then he'll be a fresh player on Friday with hopefully his shoulders not bugging him that much, and he can be hitting the ground running. If he's or Sean, if he's too hurt, there's a thing in baseball.
What is it, Herb?
It's called the injured list. It used to be called the disabled list, but now the injured list, the IL.
What's that purpose?
He could just be placed on there for 10 days for position players, and then from that, he can go retroactively back to last week and then come back after the Boston series and join him in Anaheim and be as fresh as can be with 10 days off, and his shoulder can be fine, and he can hit the ground running. Maybe, that would be a smart move for the White Sox, and then bring somebody else up in his stead. So, if they need a late pitch running situation, a late base running or defensive substitution situation, you could have another middle infielder in there instead of just burning a spot with Tim. So you're working with a man down already with only 12 men in the offensive arsenal instead of 13 like you're supposed to have.
This idea that you just brought up, injured list.
Yes.
You're a smart person. You're a smart man. I don't think that actually exists. Really? I don't think that that's a thing for at least the White Sox. I think there's definitely a rule if we were to open up the MLB rule book. It's like injured list for position players, yada, 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 for every team except the Chicago White Sox. I don't know. We should read the rule book during this game.
They certainly utilize it for other players like today, and I know you're going to get to it.
I am?
Okay.
Oh, we'll get to it in the starting
Sox. So,
we will get to that.
Put on the IL, but wasn't Tim Anderson.
Yeah, no, it wasn't Tim Anderson. And there is a guy who is even injured, not injured, but will be off today that I thought you were talking about, but he's just not going to be in the lineup. We'll talk about that with the starting Sox in just a second. But Rick Hahn did mention that Lenyn Sosa is still taking his time getting back from the injured list, so maybe you're not completely off base. Maybe they do give Tim the day off on Wednesday. It's retroactive, and that off day, maybe Lenyn Sosa gets activated, or maybe Tim, hits the IL on Friday, and we see Lenyn Sosa come up here. Because again, as we'll get to with starting Sox, no Jose Rodriguez still in the lineup for the White Sox, which is frustrating. There was one more roster move before we get to the IL move. The White Sox claimed Touki Toussaint. And he could be with the White Sox as soon as tomorrow, and will join the bullpen with the ability to spot start. Touki was formerly with the Guardians. He made one big league start last week.
That's a player? That's a player?
Touki Toussaint?
Oh, I thought that was like a dish in New Orleans you get.
I think it's both.
Okay.
And I also think you're thinking of Alan Toussaint. Okay. Right? I think that's
like a poet or something like that.
I think he's a musical artist.
Yes.
But Touki used to be a Brave.
Yes.
And, he's a former first rounder, I think.
Put him in the lab. See if you get that Gregory Santos / Keenan Middleton bounce off of Touki Toussaint.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be... Oh, geez, Cody's
Couple people
going
over there talking and being loud. I might hit a home run.
I don't know about that dead cat bounce because, again, he's really been under or below average for the past 5 years, and even when he was above average, a 102 ERA plus. I don't know if this is the potential and actual, stuff to be that type. I don't know. I mean, maybe he can be better than Jesse Schultens. He at least has an arm. I mean, that's the thing. The White Sox can only dig through the trash and never find treasure, I feel, with a lot of these casts off from organizations. I mean, sometimes you get a Keenan Middleton, but for a lot of the time it's Jesse Schultens, Touki Toussaint, or Nate Fisher.
Touki Toussaint's going to be useful, if he can pitch well, because of what happened yesterday where the White Sox had a bullpen game. They pitched pretty well for a team that, doesn't have a lot of depth in their rotation and the bullpen. To only give up 5 runs to that Texas Rangers team, for those people who pitched, fine, and especially the relievers, I think, only gave up 3 earned runs. So they're going to need some people to step in, depending on how Dylan Cease does today. Hopefully a good outing, a nice, decent, long outing, so he saves the bullpen, because Wednesday, another chance for the White Sox to establish and to use their team for hopefully, a rubber match game. But the last 2 rubber matches haven't gone the White Sox way versus the Dodgers and the Mariners.
Yeah, and you mentioned the bullpen, and you mentioned the injury a little bit earlier. Prior to tonight's game, this from the White Sox. The White Sox placed left-handed pitcher Garrett Crochet on the 15-day injured list, retroactive to June 17th, which I believe was the last time he pitched in L.A., with left shoulder inflammation, and returned right-hander Jimmy Lambert from his injury rehab assignment at Class AAA Charlotte, and reinstated him from the 15-day injured list. So goodbye, Garrett Crochet. Hello, Jimmy Lambert. Crochet, this isn't super surprising because we saw them go out and meet with him, and he was like, no, I'm okay. And we did see a dip in his velocity. Another first rounder where pretty stinky.
Yeah. And I don't know if you pointed it out or it was Jordan Lazowski. It was some smart White Sox Twitter person. You, Jordan Lazowski, Josh Nelson, one of you guys pointed out, man, his miles per hour is way down on where he usually is, and he wasn't doing well versus the Dodgers. So, yeah, that is very worrisome because he just came back from Tommy John, and now he's going right back on the IL. So this is White Sox fortunes. This is how they roll. This is how they roll. Is that the song by Jake Owen?
Oh, my friend, I have no idea what you're talking
Anybody?
about. Who is
Country
it,
people?
Jake Owen?
You're from Indiana.
Yeah,
this is how we roll. Who's that?
Yeah, Greg Dale Earnhardt Jr., Braggs Jr.
You guys don't know country?
I don't know. I know the song. I don't know exactly who sings it.
He knows the song, but he doesn't know anything.
No one
else.
knows who
You know the song. But.
And this is just payback for when I referenced the Waka Flocka Flame song last week.
Yeah, no one
and you wanted to disregard it.
Because that's trash.
Could you sing it for Herb? Herb, I don't think was too confident on the "This is how we roll" part.
This is how we roll.
If feel like
definitely knows the song. Shit.
picking up doing a pickup truck.
I
having
feel
a
like
dog on the side.
Man, I'm like Bob Huggins. I'm real passionate about recycling.
Yeah.
You know, I keep a trash bag of empties in my passenger seat just because I really love that 10 cents I get for returning it to my local recycling services. I also love to drink and drive. Funny enough,
That's weird.
it was a joke. I don't.
Kids don't drink and drive.
No, his
Don't drink, personally, kids.
don't drink.
Alcohol.
Yeah, no,
You can drink other things like water.
Cheers. What? No, we don't.
Cheers.
Shout out to Gusan. Don't drink and drive though. That was a bad joke.
We left that behind.
Sucks about Gary Crochet, but what did we leave behind?
The drinking and driving last year.
Oh yeah, we left that. Yeah, he was throwing 93, as Clark says. So it's not super surprising, but just really disappointing, and hopefully they can figure that out because, again, Garrett was such a huge part of this team. We thought in 2020. In 2021, he was still effective, but we just haven't seen that player return for the Sox. Let's get into the starting Sox. The starting lineup for your Chicago White Sox, leading off, Andrew Benintendi in left field. Batting second, Andrew Vaughn at first base. Batting third, Eloy Jimenez at designated hitter. Batting fourth, Jake Berger at third base.
Zach Rimmer really loves Eloy Jimenez. He's pointing to him.
Yes, he does. Yes, he's that's where you play.
He's like, this is where I'm supposed to be.
You're a DH. Oh,
no,
shit.
he's like,
You
this
should
is where
be
I'm supposed to
batting
be, Pedro. And Pedro's like, no, you make a good point, Zach Rimmer, who hasn't got a hit since your first game.
Yeah, great bunting.
He's back out to bunt.
Mercy.
And again, like I don't know you're gonna finish the thing, but Jose Rodriguez not in the lineup again.
No.
He's getting the Lenine Sosa treatment.
Mercy.
Bring your ass up here and sit on that bench.
Yeah. Do you really like looking at the scoreboard from the dugout? Is it nice to see that view? Like
For Zach Rimmer.
I don't get the experience. You get to fly, not even on the team flight, from Charlotte to Chicago.
No,
right?
No, just regular as United or Spirit.
Mercy. Yeah, and Clark, it is spelled Touki for Tukey. But batting fifth, Gavin Sheets in right field. Batting sixth, Yasmani Grandal at catcher. Batting seventh, Clint Frazier in center field. Batting eighth, Elvis Andrus at shortstop. And batting ninth, Zach Remillard, your guy, at second base. No Luis Robert Jr., obviously, as Clint Frazier is playing center field. Pedro Grifol just says it's a normal day off after making 20 straight starts for Luis Robert Jr. And as Vinny notes, Robert is 27 games away from matching the career high 98 he played in last season. And Grifol's been happy with how Robert has posted and played through typical baseball soreness. Are you fine with the day off?
Yeah, you got to give these players days off, but as I said before with Tim, parlay these into actual better situations where you're given multiple days off. So he doesn't play on Wednesday, and then the natural off days on Thursday. But I get it. He wants to have him off, but I say versus one of the best pitchers in the American League, he could take the day off tomorrow on Wednesday instead of taking the day off today versus Nathan Eovaldi in that lineup. I mean, you look, if this is the opposite in Arlington, Texas right now, and somebody's doing a show, they're like, who the hell are these guys? Like, this lineup is going to be going against Nathan Eovaldi?
Yes.
This is a not good lineup.
They're going to win, too.
Like,
God damn it.
What's happening? Like, at the top, you have a guy who hadn't hit one home run, then Vaughn, decent, then Eloy, decent, Jake Berger hits home runs, and then falls off the table. Gavin's all right, and then nothingness. That's just, like, Nathan Eovaldi is licking his chops, waiting to face this White Sox lineup. Look at that. Yasmani's shell of himself. Clint Frazier's nothing. Andrus is terrible, and Zach Rimillard's a 7-year minor leaguer.
Well, Clint Frazier has shown really great discipline at the plate. He's really shown a propensity not to swing at balls. He's also shown a propensity not to hit anything.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I
just
guess it's
make
better
any
to strike out looking than to strike out swinging. No,
Jake. I would rather. Would you rather have Jake Berger or Clint Frazier?
Oh yeah, Jake Berger.
Jake Berger.
Yeah.
Well, I guess Greg's saying get to the Rangers lineup. Okay, Greg. The Rangers lineup
Much
is
better
as follow.
Much better.
Leading off, Marcus Semien at second base, batting second, Corey Seager at shortstop, batting third, Josh Young at third base, batting fourth, Adolis Garcia in right field, batting fifth, Nathaniel Lowe at first base, batting sixth, Jonah Heim at catcher, Batting 7th, Ezekiel Duran at designated hitter. Batting 8th, Travis Jankowski in left field. And batting 9th, Leody Tavares in center field.
Yeah, and I noted last night Leody Tavares has like an OPS that's over 750, and to have that in your 9 spot is a huge luxury.
Second leadoff hitter.
The White Sox would love to have a 750 OPS guy, multiple times in their lineup, because I think tonight they only have one of them, and that would be Mr. Jake Berger. So it's going to be a tough game for the White Sox going against this team. At least they kind of looked and said, hey, we're going to match you up with Dylan Cease going on the bump. We're going to put some of our worst players in, like Travis Jankowski, who's more of a defensive / base running guy. But that team's still formidable. It's still going to do some damage against Dylan Cease. Hopefully limit the damage to 2 or 3 runs so this White Sox team can win, because we know we're not going to score more than 3.
Yeah, 3-7 in their last 10. The White Sox need a win. And as we kind of talked about yesterday, last time Dylan Cease was on the bump, the White Sox through the first 5 innings were playing extremely well. Playing, crisp baseball. We thought it could have been one of their best games in 2 years. Mm-hmm. Then
in LA too, like against a great team,
the White Sox showed themselves to be the White Sox still. They had 4 solo shots in that game, and as we just talked about yesterday, 12 of their last 16 runs driven in have come off homers. 11 of those 16 have been solo homers. So get people on base. Courtney is asking, what inning do we think the Sox will get their first walk?
I think
it was the 9th inning.
I think they're going to be in the 7th inning when Eovaldi's kind of wearing down. He's like, he just lost the no-hit bid, and he's like pissed. He's like, hell, and he walks the next guy.
I will say whenever Eovaldi leaves.
Okay.
I don't think Eovaldi walks anybody. I do also think that he strikes out more than 6.5, which you can go bet on.
Huge.
At DraftKings Sportsbook. I got it at plus 130 earlier today, and you just look at his past performances: 9, 6, 7. Had 12 against Oakland. Had 8 against the Yankees back in April. I do have a little bit of concern just because he has pitched 100 pitches in the past 2 starts, 102 and 105.
Over versus pretty good offenses in the Rays, and I forgot who this team the other
Angels with Ohtani and Trout.
Yeah.
But even then, he had a stint where in April and May, the 29th and the 6th, 113 pitches against the Yankees, 107 pitches against the Angels, and then the next outing, 8 2/3, 3 hits, 1 walk, 12 strikeouts with 113 pitches. So he doesn't usually throw 100 pitches, or at least hasn't in like 5 years, but track record, at least this year, has been really, really good for Nathan Eovaldi.
Like, he's one of the best pitchers in the league. He has the pitches that do flummox the White Sox, mostly a fastball, splitter, occasional sliders guy, throw a curveball every once in a while. So he has filth, and he locates it well, and he changes speed well. But knowing the White Sox, they have generic right-hander who's made his major league debut, shut him out for 7, and then Nathan Eovaldi comes up today, and they finally get a couple hits off him, get a couple runs off him, make him look kind of bad in comparison to what he's done for the rest of the year, and get like 4 runs off him. I can see that happening, but more likely he shuts them down, as the White Sox are wont to do, and then the Rangers bullpen goes easy, 1, 2, 3. Will Smith comes in for the save.
Yeah, and hey, he's going to have to stare 7, 8, 9 right in the face again and see, Zach Remillard shaking in his boots. Bunting, and then he tries to take a healthy hit.
Let's talk about that. I don't think we talked about it enough. Last night, we were watching the game. In the 9th inning, there's 2 runners on to start the inning. They're down by 3 runs. So Zach Remillard at the plate represents the tying run. Sean, before the pitch is thrown, says he's going to bunt. I say, no, he's not. It doesn't make sense. He squares the bunt and fouls it off. What are we doing? Is it his call? Is it Pedro's call? Whoever. They're idiots. You need a home run there, or at least a hit to continue the game going and maybe cause this game to go into extras. But a bunt to get the runners to 2nd and 3rd, where it also brings up the next tying run instead of you, golly, it's just dumb. Just really dumb. Pinch hit him if you're going to bunt him. Pinch hit. If he's not good enough to hit, put somebody else who can hit.
I mean, they couldn't pinch hit Tim because he's hurt. I
know they couldn't pitch Gavin Sheets because there was a lefty, so you can't go against a lefty versus a lefty.
No,
no.
Not that one of them's an actual MLB player.
I would say, just put the better player up and see what we can do against the actual pitcher instead of Zach Remillard doing Zach Remillard things. And I don't want to rail on him because his story is unique and he's going to have a great story to be told, maybe a movie eventually. But he is what he is. And then Pedro.
A movie?
I mean, being in the minors for 7 years and finally going on your first day doing something that no one's ever done, that's pretty much a good movie. They made a movie out the Rookie of the Year or the Rookie. That old teacher.
Hey, man. Herb, I support your endeavor to
you don't think that's going to be a
move
good movie?
to the West Coast again and write the Zach Remillard movie. I knew he was your guy, but I didn't know you were that inspired.
I will not, but he did a thing that nobody's ever done in major leagues with his 4 times getting on base, driving in the tying and the winning run in the same game. Yeah.
In a random game in June?
Yeah.
You make a movie?
No, I'm not going to make a movie.
Maybe
but I'm not trying to
short film.
Crap on the guy, but they should know who he is. They're acting like, oh, man, that Zach Remillard that showed up on Friday is the guy we're going to get for the rest of the year. Remember, he's an under 700 OPS guy in AAA. So that will be the guy you're going to get here at the majors. What he did on the first day was a flash in the pan, was the anomaly. This is the norm.
Greg, can you search the chat real quick for Joey P? I don't know if Joey's hanging out there, but I just saw this on Twitter, and I thought I saw him earlier, but he was sharing a CHGO Sports merch. There he is. Drink and watch the White Sox. Hey, classic. But shout out to Joey and anybody else who's a diehard or picking up our merch. We do appreciate that. Do we show and talk about the starting pitching lines?
We haven't.
Let's show that, Greg. 79 1/3 innings pitched this year for Dylan Cease, 40 an ERA of 4.31. He's allowed 69 hits and struck out 91 batters. 37 have been walked by Dylan Cease and an ERA plus of 102. That is 2% better than the major league average. Nathan Eovaldi, 93 2/3 innings pitched, a 2.59 ERA, 73 hits allowed, 92 strikeouts, 19 walks, and an ERA plus of 164. You talked about Eovaldi being one of the best in the majors. The Sox have had decent success against Eovaldi. However, just with his up and down nature, his injured past, I think it's really tough to look at this guy and be like, you've gotten the same Nathan Eovaldi each and every start. It does seem really tough for him to find his consistency, but he seems pretty damn consistent in Texas.
He does, and that was one of the guys that I think we looked at as a free agent, maybe pickup for the White Sox this past offseason. I would have loved the White Sox to at least travel and see if a guy from Boston could be one of their starting pitchers, either him or Michael Wacha. They chose neither of the two. Chose another guy. Starting pitcher number 5, Mike Clevenger.
Yeah, right.
I think he's pitched all right this year, but White Sox would have been in a better spot with Michael Wacha or Nathan Eovaldi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, but again, I think Eovaldi again got a lot more money. That's the thing is, to get good players, you got to spend money.
I mean, the Wacha deal wasn't a lot more money. I think the Wacha deal actually this year is less than what Clevenger's getting, but
yes,
it was
a
very, very clever, innovative contract by the Padres and Wacha's agent.
34 guaranteed over 2 years for Eovaldi. 17 mil, so a little bit of a bump there for compared to SP5. Yeah, I mean, I don't think, again, the White Sox were... It's all about connections. It's all about relations.
Yeah, they weren't in the market for a good pitcher.
No, they really weren't. Clearly, I mean, they were in the market for 2 guys.
They better be in the market for a good pitcher next year.
There aren't any. I think the one guy that's decent is the guy pitching for the Cub over there,
Marcus Stroman. Yeah, he's
your
not
guy.
coming here.
No. All right.
Too good. Too much money.
Let's go. And he's disrespected the owner's guy.
Only, yeah. That's Tony.
Yeah. What was the other thing we needed to talk about? That's it.
Pick the click.
Let's do that.
Click the pick.
Dylan needs a big outing, but again, he was great last outing against the Dodgers. It's mostly about this offense showing up, and without Luis Robert Jr., that's a big ask for this team. Greg, you want me to promote the shirts? Okay, all right, man. Here, click to picks. Vinny Duber is picking Andrew Benintendi, and make sure you follow him on Twitter at Vinny Duber for updates throughout the game. Herb, who are you going with?
I'm going Jake Berger. It's a home game. A guy who throws in the upper 90s and Jake, who likes to swing, and he stays around the zone, I think Jake will leave the yard, and that'll be the White Sox one run. The Rangers will win this game 5-1.
All right. Eovaldi in games where he's pitched 100 or where he's pitched 100 pitches in the 2 games prior, he's got an ERA of 6.21. Cease on the mound. All that seems very much like the White Sox could win this game. We go Andrew Benintendi. I think he's had some nice swings recently, but I agree with her. You said 5-1.
I did.
They scored a run. They scored a run last night. Eloy hit a homer.
Scored 2 runs.
All right, the back-to-back homers. It was not Eloy then.
It was
Luis
Eloy and your man, Andrew Vaughn.
Andrew Vaughn. All right. I think Eloy hit one to center field that was pretty deep. But
You and I was like to say you and Baloney. Baloney's going with Eloy. I know you're going with AV.
yeah, I'll go Andrew Vaughn, and I think it's going to be the Rangers winning 3-0.
Okay. Wait. How's it? Okay, never mind.
What?
I thought like Andrew Vaughn's going to get like a bunch of singles and we're not going to score.
Well, we never do click to pick because this team's 12 games under 500.
Okay.
This team never clicks, picks.
Understood.
They just kind of shit the bed all the time. That's
We're
our
going to
ones.
do the thing where we go back to winning a lot and then losing a lot. Like we got to do
We
the
win all the time.
the
They
roller coaster
lose
thing.
all the time.
Like they won a bunch of games in a row. Now they lose a bunch of games in a row. When we going back up on the roller coaster? Oakland next week. Oakland.
Oh, you're talking about this season?
Yeah.
I was thinking like as a franchise, like 12 years from now.
Yeah.
This is the next time we'll feel happiness. Yeah, I mean, didn't they go like 2-2 when they went out to Oakland last year though?
They did.
I don't know. I mean, the A's ended up winning 7 games. I feel like they could lose a series to the A's. I don't feel that confident going up against anyone. I mean, they are the White Sox. I mean, we even turned Jake. Jake's the optimist in this entire office. And I asked him if the Sox are going to win tonight, and he said no. So again,
He's smart.
He is
He's starting to get it. The White Sox
wising up.
barely win games.
That's the truth.
When they do, we all feel elation.
No matter what, win or loss, we'll be with you after the game for the CHGO White Sox postgame show. That's Herb Lawrence. You can follow him on Twitter at ActonRoll23. He's our CHGO White Sox community leader. I'm Sean Anderson. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. And you can follow the show on Twitter at CHGO_White Sox. Thank you to Greg Braggs Jr. and Stephen Nicholas for producing the show. And thank you to everybody for hanging out with us in the chat. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button. And again, no matter if it's a win, no matter if it's a loss, we'll be joining you after the game. Hopefully Dylan Cease can pull through and the offense can give him support. We'll talk to you after the game. Go Sox.
We're serious about success.
Hey.